Single women own roughly 10.7 million homes compared to men.
I regret buying a house. If I could go back to January 2022, I would tell that girl, do not.
I feel like the real estate economy has really glamorized home ownership.
Said a home is a terrible investment.
You're living in it, you're paying for it. Even when the loan's paid, you still got to pay property taxes.
Over 3 million more homes are owned by single women than single men.
The pipes in my 80-year-old home broke immediately as soon as I bought the house.
Buying a house does not make you successful.
Hey guys, welcome back to Motor Life. Now, before we get into this video, I ask that you like, comment, subscribe. Also, smash that notification bell just to be sure you get on my videos as soon as I release them. Let's get right into this.
More women are homeowners than men.
We do not care.
That's right. Single women own roughly 10.7 million homes compared to men at 8.1 million.
Get another line of credit.
And I've heard people talk about this time and time again, but I would love your opinion. Why do you think that is? Do you think that the statistics surrounding college degrees and whether more men or women have those degrees has anything to do with it? Do you think it's a difference in salary? Even though we all know that. So why do you think that is? I want to hear your feedback. I'm not mad about it though.
I think it's because men are not investing in single family homes. A man would rather invest in a duplex or better, something that's going to turn a cash value, that's going to make money for themselves, right? A single family home, you're just going to throw money into it and burn money up. When you have, say, for instance, a condominium, or say you have 4 families or more in the home, 2's the usual, but if a guy can go 4 or more, that's the play. And if you got to bring more hands in the table, you know what? Sometimes it's better because everybody eats and the money's divided equally. And yeah, makes more sense.
Hey, darling, are you feeling mad? Yeah. Are you feeling kind of sad too? Yeah. You're.
When women buy a house.
So I'm officially a homeowner today, y'all. And I'm trying not to cry. I'm so.
That's exactly how it goes when you buy a house, right? The bragging, oh, you know, more homes than men. It's not a flex like you think. It's not. Guys have realized it doesn't make sense to blow your money in the home. What's that thing that's been going on for years? A lot of women didn't pay attention to that. You heard men saying it. Men have been saying for years, why throw your money away in a home? That's been a long-standing thing. I remember this was going on for, 10 years? I've been hearing this, but they don't know.
You guys want to know what's really cute? Women in the U.S. own 2.71 million more homes than single men. And that's single women. What's even crazier is the state that has the largest share of single women who own a house. And it just so happens to be the state that I live in too, which is Delaware. And even crazier is that it wasn't until 1974 when the Equal Credit Opportunities Act passed that women could even open up a bank account. And now here we are in 2024 and there are more single women than there are single men buying houses. And I just think that's really cool. And I just feel like women understand that so much more, and they would make more sacrifices to then just get into their first house to start gaining equity, even though it's maybe not the best location or the best house, but they understand the value of an appreciating asset like real estate, clearly much more than single young men do. Transparency post. I regret buying a house. I regret it a lot.
I could go back to January 2022, I would tell that girl, do not. Just find another apartment to move into, because doing all that I have to do for this house and all the unexpected costs, high dollar unexpected costs that I keep running into, to be handling it by myself. So to all you young women who want to go out and buy a home, I encourage you to really, really think about it. Talk to some people and really see the ins and outs. I mean, it always sounds good. Oh yeah, your mortgage is only going to be $1,000 until they reevaluate your property taxes, and then $200. You know, it's trash. 85 degrees, your AC is going to go out. You don't want to know how much that costs.
Buying a house is not just a pragmatic decision. It's romantic. It's a heart and mind kind of thing. Don't tell the other accountants I'm saying this, but don't berate yourself. You fell in love with a lemon. At least you'll develop some plumbing and electrical skills, and that'll be handy.
We actually have a couple friends that bought houses this year, and I think they have a lot of regret. Like, I think they felt like that was like the next step they needed to do. Both sets of friends were getting married. It just kind of seemed like the natural groove of thing. I don't think it was a horrible decision by any means, but I do wonder like how much of it was pressure to like just the need to have to buy a home. Because then it's like, oh, can you really afford to fix it up? So like, are you going to be house poor? Can you afford furniture?
That's the thing, right? Buying a home, fix it up. Oh no, that's going to be an easy part for some. Some women know they need to blow their money to make the home look nice. They need to blow their money to upkeep the home. They need to blow their money to make sure they replace new things. But that's the thing. When you're doing all of that, your first year, and you did whatever you can to play all of the costs to get the home, that's when you start to feel like you're house poor. And a lot of women are living with regret now. This is what's happening. She's talking about those regrets. This is probably coming from an homeowner for 5-10 years, right? She knows the pains. I saw it when I was younger, when my parents moved from Southside Jamaica, Queens to Long Island in a brand new home, but the home wasn't brand new. It was about a 50-year-old home, and by the time we moved into it, the walls started to cave in. Yeah, a lot of problems started happening, and my mom wasn't ready for those problems, but she dealt with it. She still lives in that house to this day, and it's a nightmare. Yeah, for a while we were house poor, and I seen the effects of being house poor. We always had, because people always had a good job, always supplied for myself once I hit 16. But still, it's a hard feeling. It's a harsh feeling when you're house poor.
Buying a house was a bad investment. My partner and I couldn't afford a house close to the city, so we bought way out in the suburb, and getting into the city is expensive. I have just had to start working a second job due to rising interest rates and needing to afford mortgage payments. House maintenance is expensive. No more calling up your landlord. That's your problem now. The commute takes about 2 to 3 hours a day. Travel is not looking like a viable option. Uber Eats options are terrible. I know renting isn't all sunshine and daisies either, but just wanted to be real.
Yeah, guys, I don't know. See, me, I've given up on real estate in the U.S. I've given up. Let me tell you why. Because I live in the Philippines, number one. Number two, I've seen all real estate, either you make a third of your money or you make more than that, right? Sometimes it doubles, sometimes it triples. Where I am now. Now, I can't own a home, but I can invest. And you can invest in certain things like buying a condo. That could actually be an investment, because say you get a condo out here, right? And then you get it when it's brand new. So you say you get the condo at $2 million. That's around $40,000. And then you dress it up with furniture and sell the condo. Now you're selling it for $60,000, if not more than that. So you're making your money between. It's a way to clean, and that's how people clean up out here. Invest in a condo, make 20,000. Invest in a condo, make 20,000. And some people do that 5 times a year, or 5 different condos, 10 different condos. Yeah, so think about it. If you invest in 10 condos, you're making what? 5 condos is 100,000, 10 condos 200. a lot of people doing that, making some good scratch, and that's quite a great amount of money to live on. A lot different than real estate where I'm from, because that's not always guaranteed. The market could fluctuate up and down. That doesn't happen where I am now.
Okay, so I feel like nobody talks about the realities of home ownership, because I feel like the people who promote it are all real estate agents. And I feel like the real estate economy has really glamorized home ownership without talking about the negatives.
And with them glamorizing home ownership, because men know it's glamorized, who is that going to appeal to the most? Woman. Who got this newfound money? Who's recently became the independent woman? Who has the companies hired the most and started hiring the most? Not they fired them, but they started hiring a woman. But let me let her finish.
Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't own a home. I'm not saying that in the long run, 10, 20, 30 years down the line, yes, it will be a good investment. But I'm saying nobody talks about the expenses, the stress, the effects on your mental health from owning a home. When your home, the place you live in, the place you seek comfort and shelter is broken and doesn't work, it's truly damaging on your mental health. And insurance companies, they will not do. I'm going to do a whole nother TikTok series about insurance companies and how it was just a living nightmare, in which I actually didn't even take the accommodations they offered me because they were just so flaky and shady that I was like, I'd rather live in a broken home than not know where I'm going to live. And even nice homes that are expensive, like in this user's comment, 1.7 million, homes in areas like San Francisco, Los Angeles, Southern California, like expensive areas, you get a $2 million home and you still need to fix it up significantly, because in those areas, that's what it's going for. And then also just this logistical nightmare of scheduling. This kind of work is insane because nobody ever shows up on time or when they're going to. And it's like, God forbid you work during the day, during the week, because they don't come in on weekends. So that's the hard part. And then they're always 2 hours late. So it's like you tell them to come in at 10 o'clock, you have a meeting at noon. So you're like, okay, there's 2 hours of buffer time. But guess what? You have a meeting at noon. And thank God I work.
House. Here are 3 things that I don't like about owning my home. Number 1 is maintenance on stupid stuff. One of those is cleaning out my garage. Today I spent my entire Sunday vacuuming up the garage, taking everything out, dusting off the cobwebs. Mice and insects are another thing that I don't like about owning a home. A couple months ago we were cleaning up the house and I remember seeing these like little grains that I thought were little grains of rice, and I asked my fiance, what is this? Like, what do you think this is from? He's like, oh my God, that's mouse poop. Every drawer, even where our clothes were, like in the kitchen, everywhere we found mouse poop. I hate mice. I literally hate mice. And I had to disinfect everything that had been touched by poop. Finally, if something breaks, it's my fault. In April of this year, our dishwasher broke. Turns out the motor on the dishwasher went bad, even though we had only bought the house 2 years ago. So then we just ended up calling Samsung. They had to send somebody out here. It really disrupted my work schedule. I had to be home for a couple days while this guy came. He had to come out and inspect it. Then he had to buy the part. It ended up costing us like $350. $350 is a lot of money that it could have set us back if we weren't prepared.
Yeah. That's those costs.
I couldn't agree more.
I'm going to be really controversial when I say this, and I'm talking to all of our parents out there. Buying a house does not make you successful. Don't worry, I did it by myself at 30, and so I'm going to walk you through why I would never do it again. Specifically in California or LA, and I mean by myself. I signed those documents as a single woman, first and last name, because that's how they do it. If you have a partner that would split that with you, I think that's a completely different story. Again, bought my house by myself in LA. Let's go over the pricing. I bought a townhouse in LA, a 1-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom. It was $465,000. I bought it in 2021 because I thought that was going to be the cheapest thing possible. I had an interest rate of less than 3%. It was 2.99%. Things that I could not have factored in. HOA increasing. My HOA from month 1 went to $299, and then year 3 went to $486. The reason I'm talking about this is because my house is on the market. I am selling it for $535,000, okay? So I'm gonna minus broker's fees, improvements, escrow fees, title insurance, and corrective worker repairs. With that being all added up, my profit at the end of the day for 4 years is $15,206. I put 10% down. That's $46,000.
Man, it's nothing. And you can get that, as I said, within a year in the Philippines from dealing with a condo. Now, if you could do a home, you probably can make a lot more. I know a guy in the Philippines right now who used to fix homes in the West. He saw what was happening. He knows it will be profitable to come over here and do real estate here. Now, this is a guy that can fix your garage. He builds homes from scratch. It's a win-win. I'm definitely teaming up with him. We're definitely going to make a lot of scratch because he does it all. Not like one of these people who don't know what they're doing. Then they need to pay $10,000 for it. He's the one who will charge them the $10,000.
You said a home is a terrible investment. Isn't that kind of ironic?
It is a terrible investment. There's nothing good about it. Doesn't cash flow. You don't get big tax write-offs because of it. You have no leverage. You're living in it. You're paying for it. Even when the loan's paid, you still got to pay property taxes. Still got to insure it. Still got to maintain it. People get emotional about their house. This is my house. It ain't your house. You're a partner in this house with the state.
So your recommendation to a normal family would be to rent?
Never buy a house, man. Rent. I'm not saying don't own real estate. I'm saying take all the money that you would have spent on that house and invest in real estate that cash flows, that pays you every month. Could be retail, storage, could be land. If you're a farmer or a rancher and you know how to get cows to a cash flow, then do that.
You heard what he said? And that's what guys are looking into. And that makes sense. That's more of the man route.
Spending on rent. I'm not seeing none of that back. The only thing I'll see back is a security deposit, and we already know how that goes. We rarely ever get that back. But if I've been paying mortgage on a house for 10 years, how much of that money am I going to see back? Worst case scenario, I see 20%. Worst case scenario. 20% way better than not seeing anything. And this is it. Some of you want these $1 million homes, $750,000 homes. How do you think these people going to get these houses? You think they just end up getting a job, the starting pay, and or they've been with this company for 10 years and now they can sit up here and afford a mortgage payment that's $5,000, $6,000? No. They had equity from a house they bought. They probably got some raises. They sold the house, used the equity from that house to put a down payment on that really expensive house.
Doesn't make sense to me.
I think it's a variety of different factors that go into why women might be higher home ownership. It's interesting. A lot of times men may have more financial obligation.
Absolutely.
When you look at the child support system, when you look at potentially having to provide for other people, women, provide for other people as well, but the man might have other financial obligations.
This is like the whiteout answer, though.
Did you know that single women own 2.71 million more homes in America than single men? That's crazy. Especially considering that women couldn't even get a mortgage by themselves until 1974. This has been a busy 50 years, I guess. Period.
I had such an exciting closing today for a client who has been looking for a home for over 2 years, finally found her dream home and closed. And I got to say, after 23 years as a mortgage lender, in 2024, single women are killing the game. They're making their own money. They're buying their own homes.
Are you sure about that?
It's awesome to watch. Over 3 million more homes are owned by single women than single men in 2024. Why don't you chew on that for a minute? And it's also changing how people are taking title. I've seen friends buy homes together. Nobody is shameful about being single or buying homes with a friend because you never know where life's going to take you, and you might as well start building wealth now. It is expensive, so to pool your money with a friend or multiple friends is happening more and more also. But shout out to the single women. I see you. I am you. And
I am broke.
And I am here for it.
I bought a house when I was 26 and fell immediately into poverty. Okay, when I lived with my parents, I was living my best luxury lifestyle. I went to South Korea, bought a 2,000 plane ticket, didn't even blink twice. I went shopping, luxury goods, all that. Was traveling, was just Oh, I was living it up. I felt rich. I had no bills. And I had a full-time 9-to-5 job. I was working as a nurse. Okay? I was killing it. I bought my own house. That first mortgage payment came in and I was like, oh, this is a situation. But at first you think you can handle it, right? Like, what's a couple thou? What's a couple thou? I got it. But then the pipes in my 80-year-old home broke immediately as soon as I bought the house. Wiped out my savings. Then another pipe in a different area of the house broke. Okay, I'm struggling. Okay, I need help. Then my neighbor's pipe, it was a twin house, her pipe broke. And she didn't believe that her pipe broke, but her pipe broke on my side of the house. So all of that water that was coming down was spraying into my home. And then my water heater broke. When I tell y'all, I went from living in the lap of luxury to destitute immediately. Now, don't get me to fooling y'all, because it was worth it in the long run, because that house is now worth like 2 times what it was worth then. So I'm actually doing pretty good. But at the time, when I tell you I was struggling, I had to go to my parents every other day for dinner because your girl could not feed herself.
Many millennials regret buying.
I'm a millennial and I don't feel this way right now, but I remember feeling this way when we bought our first home. So very quickly, my husband and I closed on our very first home, and our mortgage when we closed was $1,096. I know, it's crazy, right? And we were actually freaking out about that. When we would talk about, monthly expenses or, now we have this mortgage, my husband and I were like, how are we ever gonna pay that much money every single month? Our family members were even like, you got a very high mortgage, you're not gonna be able to do anything, don't go out to eat. Like, they were giving us all these tips on how to stay on budget, because most of our family members didn't have a mortgage over $1,000. So us closing at over $1,000 was crazy. However, shortly after, maybe about a few years into the mortgage, we started seeing just constant increases, or at least that's how it felt, right? So our homeowners insurance went up, especially after Hurricane Harvey, and our property taxes, even though my husband is a disabled veteran, were constantly increasing, and we were constantly fighting to keep that rate down, but it really did seem like futile. And I think the feeling of regret comes from only planning for that initial payment, like when you first move into your home, but we don't plan for what it's going to look like as time goes on and our mandated expenses increase.
Also, definitely go check out that video. It's such a great video and it breaks a lot of things down.
That's the thing. A lot of people aren't ready for that. You think you're ready, and then one thing goes wrong, and then you got to worry about homeowners insurance, and then the pipe bursts, and then this goes wrong, and then that goes wrong. Then it turns into a nightmare. And you see, like the last woman said, where she ended up okay because the home was worth double. A lot of people don't find themselves in that situation. A lot of people get a home and take a loss. You never know what you're going to get. So a lot of people choose not to get homes for that reason.
A lot of people think that if you can afford a house that's X number of dollars, you're good to go. What most people don't realize is the upkeep and the total cost to own is what kills you on real estate. Let's say that you can afford a $300,000 house. You need to keep in mind, you've still got to have gas, electric, water. You've got to keep up the yard. You've also got capital improvements. Sure that you're probably going to spend somewhere between 1 and 5% per year on capital improvements. So if you're in a $300,000 house, you need to have between $3,000 and $15,000 a year that you're going to spend on capital improvements. HVAC, roof, plumbing. And the thing about it is if you don't calculate that in your budget, you become house poor. Nobody wants to be house poor because your house gets run down. The value of it starts to depreciate if you're not investing in your house. So don't think that the purchase price is...
It's it. It's all you need. It's true.
Oh my God! I love going to work and working full time and still not being able to afford a house. I love that so much. Thank you, world.
And that's why women are going broke and selling their homes as the economy declines. It's getting hard. Now, I truly understand. I'm not bashing women at all, but yeah, a lot of women are independent, but you didn't realize what you were getting into, and it bit you in the butt. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. See you next video.